Hi everyone, I'm Sandy. Today I am doing the Books and Life tag, which is an original tag created by Steve Donoghue. When I saw him announce this tag, I knew I really wanted to do it. And then Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading also kindly tagged me in it. So thank you so much, Kelly, because I really wanted to do this one. And now I was really tagged in it. So thank you so much for that. But before I do that, I have two things that just to talk about really briefly for you. One is kind of a lesson learned, and one is a shout out, which I'm very excited about. But for my lesson learned, oh boy. So I have been following Michael K. Vaughan's series of Sherlock Saturdays, and that's not where the disappointment comes in. I just realized after watching a couple of his videos that I thought I had read all of the Sherlock Holmes stories, and then it turns out, no, I really am missing quite a few. So I decided to go on a bit of a quest this weekend to see if I could find some volumes in some of my local bookstores, and really wanted to try and find something that was a little bit more special than maybe the Barnes & Noble one. And I was able to find these, which are volume 1 and volume 2 of the complete Sherlock Holmes. I was so excited to find these books because they were a whopping $15 for the set of 2, and they're hardback and in really good condition. So I thought, oh, awesome. And when you open volume 2, it's exactly what you expect. The Hound of the Baskervilles, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, exactly the stories that I am most familiar with. And then I opened volume 1, and here I'll open it for you and you can see why I'm annoyed. This is the Odyssey of Homer. This is not a Sherlock Holmes book. Only the cover is Sherlock Holmes. The rest is the Odyssey of Homer. This is the lesson learned part, kids. Look at the inside of the book if you're buying something at a discount bookstore, because the cover may not always match the book. Mini rant over. I will be going back there today, and I doubt they have anything new for this, and they didn't have much more than this, so I will be returning this and then going on to continue my quest to find my Sherlock Holmes version that has all the stories in it, and it will be dangerous territory because I will be walking back in a bookstore today, and I've already bought way too many books. But moving on from that disappointment, I do have a shout out today, and this is actually for a channel I just discovered this morning. They happened to pop up in my main feed. I wasn't out looking for new channels, they just showed up, and I watched their first video and then their second to last video, and was just intrigued by this channel and by this couple. And the channel is actually called Shelf Possessed, and it is a married couple with Craig and David, I believe are their names. If I got that wrong, I'm so sorry. And their interactions back and forth are just really nice and pleasant. And I really enjoyed their intro video, which instead of doing a BookTube newbie tag video, they actually had a jar and they were selecting questions that they asked each other back and forth. And I just think that they were really cool and special and kind of fun and different. And so if you aren't familiar with them, please go check them out. I will certainly leave them linked in the description below. Like I said, I just found them this morning and thought that they were so funny. So hopefully you check them out. I don't know much more about them. I know they only have about 6 videos right now, I believe, and have only been on BookTube for about 3 weeks. So definitely go give them a check out. And with that, we're going to jump into the tags. We're going to jump into the tag portion of the video now. And so I will leave links to both Steve Donoghue's video and leave links to Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading's video for this tag. And then we'll go ahead and just get started. So there are 11 prompts on this, and thankfully, this doesn't require me to actually have to have read a book necessarily, which are some of my favorite tags. But so for prompt number 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a normal person and 10 being the late Harold Bloom, how much are books and reading a part of your life? Confession, I didn't know who Harold Bloom was, so I had to go look it up. I had no information about him at all. I kept thinking it was Leopold Bloom, which is from The Producers. That's not the same person. But found out he's a very famous literary critic who apparently has amassed books for a very long amount of time. So, but in watching Steve Donoghue's one, he said he was a 9, and I just struggle to understand how he's not more than a 9 given that how many books he's read this year. I haven't even read a fifth of the number of books that Steve has read. But before I started BookTube, I would have put myself at a 5. Post BookTube, I think it's a 7 now. I definitely books and reading are a very large portion of my life, and I don't work in a literary field. I do have, a husband, and I do have friends, and I do go out quite a bit with them and do other things, but I am often reading, especially in the morning. So yeah, I'm going to put myself at a 7-ish, I think, and kind of just go from there. Prompt 2, where does your personal library stand right now in relation to the rest of your life? Do you have more books now than you ever have? Fewer? How has your library changed? I actually did not have much of a library at all before starting my BookTube channel. I had really downsized it after moving a few times, and then I discovered I could check out ebooks from the library, and yeah, I stopped buying books at that point because I was able to I was getting so many books from the library. Having started my BookTube channel, I always want to have a book to hold, and so I've bought way more books than I had even, I think, over the last 5 years combined. And my library has grown considerably. If you are familiar with my videos, this bookshelf that's on this side actually was fairly empty, and now it's completely full. And this side over here also has books stacked, and this has books stacked, and then there's books stacked here, which are library books for the most part. And I have moved books into the closet. Yeah, so the rule has always been that I have to have room, and I'm quickly running out of room unless I want to put in more bookshelves. But yeah, it is bigger, I think, probably on the bigger side of books I've had in the past, definitely. And I 100% am blaming BookTube for that. So 3, take a mental step back and ask yourself, what is the most likely first bookish impression a newcomer would have in your home? Not much of one. When you come in the main door, you don't actually see any books. Everything is very more, I don't want to say modern, but everything is definitely very put away. And there's only a couple of bookish hints, which I'll put up a couple pictures of them. So if you're familiar with this particular character, you might know we have an interest in books, but it isn't until you come into my office that you really get the full-fledged book experience. So yeah, no, probably not much of one. 4, how often, if ever, gulp, do you clean or reorganize your books? I have not had my book collection for that long, so I can't really answer this question too much. I will tell you that I just reorganized it again today, moving some books out because yeah, I did go to that half-price bookstore over the weekend, and yeah, so, and in fairness, I was supervised, and I still bought more books, so anyway, moving on. But so I haven't really had to clean them yet. We certainly have, our house is cleaned, we clean our house every couple weeks, so they get dusted, but not really clean beyond that. 5, on average, how many books do you acquire in a given week? Tough one. Pre-BookTube? Not a lot. Digital books only, maybe 2 or 3 digital books. Post-BookTube, I don't want to admit that because it's way too many. It's just bad right now. I think this weekend I might have bought 5 or 6. Yeah, I really am going to have to say I'm not going to be allowed to go in a bookstore for a little while because I bought way too many books and I don't need to buy any more books right now. So but yeah, way too many is going to be my answer on that one. Number 6, what song is your current earworm? This is because of the Reading Europe Challenge 2021, which is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. They were playing that. Mark at Book Time with Elvis sent us a video where they were playing it, and it's been stuck in my head ever since then. So thanks for that, Mark. It also is a favorite of ours when we go camping, and me and my girlfriends have been known to sing that very, very loudly while camping, and I'm sure our neighbors really always appreciate that. Okay, 7, what percentage of self-control do you retain in a well-stocked bookshelf? Not a lot. I don't have a lot of self-control. I watched Aaron Face's version of this, and he said the best self-control is to not go in a bookstore. And I'm going to have to agree with that because I go in a bookstore and I just get enamored of all of the possibilities of all the books that I could possibly be reading right now, even though I have so many books that are on my shelf that I haven't read yet. And not all of them are, or most of them are not even on my 1001 list. I just get so excited by books and just want to own all the books. And then you add in my husband who went with me this weekend, and he put in a book. So yeah, we walked out with way too many. But yeah, no, even with supervision, I don't have a lot of self-control. 8, do you ever feel the need to take a break from books? If so, what form does it take? I actually do take breaks quite often. I think I had posted in another video. I tend to read in the morning. I get up early. I read between the hours of 5:30 and 8:30 usually. That's my dedicated reading time. Outside of that, I tend to not read a lot. I do work full time. And not, as I said, not in a literary field. I do like to get outside quite a bit. That is my number one way of taking books, a break from books. And then I have a rule in my house at dinner time. There are no electronic devices at all allowed at dinner. And in addition to that, there are no books allowed for me. So, that is our time to spend as a family and actually having conversation with each other. So I have a book I have a break pretty much every day because of that. And then upcoming, I have a very long break that I'll be taking, which I'll be talking about in a couple weeks. So yeah. 9, when you meet a new person, how long does it take you to bring up books? I really don't bring up books. I wait for them to bring up books. I will talk about outside things more than I will talk about books, largely. And so it isn't until someone brings it up or asks me what I'm reading, and then, yeah, forget about it. We might talk about books. I do have a couple of very good friends and a couple of family members who are book people just like I am, and it will often come up fairly early in our conversations, but it is not when I meet someone new. 10, have you given any thought, made any provisions for your personal library after you croak? No, I just don't care. I mean, I'd love it if someone got it who actually really enjoyed books and wanted to read a lot, but beyond that, no. Yeah. I can't take it with me, so whoever wants it, yeah. 11, are you known among your friends and loved ones for your weird and probably unhealthy relationship with books? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And the best way I can explain this is by discussing what my friends did for me on my birthday. Two of my very good friends kidnapped me for my birthday and took me on an Alice in Wonderland themed adventure. They had costumes. They got me Alice in Wonderland themed pictures. They were wonderful, and they also got me a copy of Alice in Wonderland, and they certainly know how much books mean to me. And yeah, so that's a great example of, if you know me really well, that's true. My son gave me books for my birthday. Yeah, it definitely is something that people know about me, and that I will often have books in my hand. I also have a book club that I do with some of my coworkers, so we talk about books there. When I talk to my nephew, we always talk about books, as well as another family member. So yeah, definitely, absolutely. I'm always definitely known for my books. And with that's the end of the prompts. So I'm grabbing my little thing. One thing before I forget, Shelf Possessed, you were absolutely also tagged in this. I haven't seen you do a tag video, and I think I would love to see one with you guys. I think it would be fun. So anyway, you are tagged, but I have my jar here, and we'll go ahead and draw a couple names. I know Steve Donoghue did tag a bunch of people, and some people have already started doing this one, but I'm going to go ahead and draw. And the first one is Leah T. Lind. So Leah's channel, if you haven't checked out her channel, please go and do so. She was so kind today in that she offered to help me, or basically is trying to figure out which Sarah J. Maas book maybe I should start reading, because I've never read any. So definitely, Leah, I hope you do this one. And please go check out her channel. Okay, so for number 2, we're going to go ahead and draw another one. And this one is Mason in the Dark. Yay! If you're not familiar with Mason's channel, please absolutely go check out Mason's channel. He is absolutely wonderful. He just posted a video with a poem in it, and I thought it was lovely. So Mason in the Dark and Leah T. Lind, both of you are tagged in this. Excellent. So excited. And with that, I think I'm done for today. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.